Shalom, giving all praises and all glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Rahakodash, double honors unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone Wall, and Shalom unto the 144,000 elect men of the nation of Israel and the rest of the elect that are destined to be saved. I'm the brother Kalab from the GMS UK London Forecasters Camp, coming back at you with another lesson to help edify those of which I spoke of. So this is based on an article I read, I believe I read this yesterday from the Daily Mail. It says, doctors warn of BBL smell as they reveal patients struggle to keep clean after enhancing their bottoms. Now, I've done videos going into this topic before. BBL stands for Brazilian butt lift, which is a procedure that a lot of women go through to make their backsides, their bottoms more full, or I could use the word more curvy. So a lot of women will be doing this, but it's a very dangerous procedure, and it can result in death. And the videos I've done in the past was of people who tried to do this surgery and it got botched and they ended up losing their lives over it. A lot of women have died as a result of this. Well, here's the new update on this thing. So it says women are suffering from bad smells after enhancing their bottoms as they struggle to keep themselves clean. So let's read this. Brazilian butt lift, BBL surgeries have become one of the fastest growing cosmetic procedures, thanks to the trend of wanting an hourglass figure. The American Society of Plastic Surgeons reported a 90% increase in BBLs between 2015 and 2022, and a roster of celebrities including Cardi B, Kim Kardashian, and Nene Leakes are rumored to have received butt enhancing procedures. But while BBLs, which cost an average of around $8,600, might look aesthetically pleasing, there is a less pleasant side effect: the BBL smell. Dr. Eric Anderson from the Chicago-based Impressions Face and Body told DailyMail.com that the BBL smell is real and it can be caused by a number of things, including tissue death and unhygienic practices. One complication of BBLs is fat necrosis, which causes fatty tissue in the buttocks to die following surgery, an indicator that a patient was overfilled with fat during the procedure. When there is more fat in an area than the blood supply allows, the fat will die through a smelly process called fat necrosis, which can lead to infections that need antibiotics, hospitalizations, and even sepsis. But the smell might also come from uncleanliness. One viral video, TikToker Don Soundsoft described the smell from one woman's BBL as he went on a date with her as an assault on my nose. In another clip, another woman said she had to get her BBL reversed because it smelled like a dumpster. Another posted, "When the Most High created us, He gave us arms. All of our arms are made specifically for our body. You probably have a hard time wiping properly because your body is a little bit wider than your arms are allowing you to reach in that area." Yeah, so some of these women's asses are so big they're having trouble wiping their backside, which is ridiculous. And another thing that doesn't help is that a lot of these women in the modern world tend to like to get these ridiculous fake fingernails. Like they can be having like 5-6 inch nails on their hands. Now, how can you wipe your ass properly? Sorry to be blunt and vulgar, but how can you wipe your ass properly when you've got 5-inch nails and shit? Now, I'll tell you something for free. Back in the day, when I was a lot younger, when I was at university, I had a girl who lived opposite me, who was from Shanghai, and she was really cool. Some people would say she might be a Moabite, but through the spirit, I perceive she was a Jake because she never used to rock with the other Moabite people. She'd be hanging around with predominantly us Jakes. But the thing is, she and I used to talk because she was my neighbour and shit. And she pointed out to me that the dangers of these fake fingernails, in that they're very difficult to keep clean. They're unhygienic, because when women with these fucking long ass nails go to the toilet and they're wiping their backside, well, there's opportunities for that shit to get under their nails. Pardon the pun. Pardon the bluntness, and then it can just be lingering there. And if they're not washing their hands properly, that's just very unhygienic. So them long ass nails, man, they're disgusting. And another thing about them is that they're so cheap to get that a lot of people, like especially fat women, they go to those things because they're cheap and easy. It's easy to buy fake fingernails and those fucking long ass eyelashes. It's easy to do. It's cheap. But you know what isn't cheap? Getting a good figure by going to the gym. Doing some exercise to stay in shape. That's a little bit more difficult. So when it comes to so-called beauty, a lot of women will run to the easiest thing, which is often those fake acrylic nails and those stupidly long eyelashes, because they're easy to do. But as I said, getting into good shape by hitting the gym on a regular basis is a lot harder. So a lot of people won't do that. They choose the path of least resistance, and that's why oftentimes you get those those gremlin looking characters with those long ass nails and those ridiculous eyelashes. That's why it's so prevalent. But anyway, back to this article. It says Dr. Roger Tsai, a board certified plastic surgeon in Beverly Hills, says reaching around to larger buttock areas after surgery might be difficult after using the bathroom, which can cause a foul-smelling odor. So yeah, these women are eating, shitting, and not even wiping their backsides properly, and it's causing them to stink, along with the process they described of fat necrosis. That's just a fucking recipe for disaster you've got going on right there. He explains wiping down there is going to be a lot more difficult because there is more to reach around. Plastic surgeons typically give the patients fair warning about the difficulties in the bathroom following the procedure. Sitting is not allowed for about 2 months after undergoing a BBL, though sitting on the toilet for a relatively quick bathroom break is okay. Many physicians recommend bidets to wash the area thoroughly. New York-based plastic surgeon Dr. Douglas Steinbach adds that a foul smell following BBL surgery may not be something to worry about. He explains it's actually pretty common for patients to notice some unusual or even unpleasant smells after a BBL procedure. I don't see a lot of it in my practice, but I have seen the conversations online. Most of the time, what they're smelling isn't anything dangerous. It's usually related to the healing process. Whatever, man. After surgery, the body is draining fluids and the patient is wearing tight compression garments that can trap sweat, moisture, and bacteria against the skin. That combination, especially in warm areas like the lower back or thighs, can definitely lead to some odor. If fat was removed from areas like the stomach or thighs, they may also notice some musty or sour smells coming from those donor sites while they are healing. Yeah, it's just ridiculous, man. It's just ridiculous, man. That being said, Dr. Steinbeck says if the smell is really strong, getting worse, or is accompanied along with redness, swelling, or discharge, it could be a sign of infection or fluid buildup. In that case, the patient should definitely reach out to the surgeon. But even if the surgery goes well, the physician says he has heard many patients say they're surprised by how long the smell sticks around, even with good hygiene. He reveals, honestly, the BBL smell is just not something that always gets mentioned before surgery. The patient is not doing anything wrong and they're not alone. In a bid to keep the smell to a minimum, Dr. Steinbeck advises keeping the area clean and dry and regularly changing compression garments. While the BBLs have seen a meteoric rise in popularity, the procedure is considered one of the riskiest out there, with 1 in every 3,000 patients dying from complications. And because many women go overseas to get a discounted procedure, follow-up with the doctor who performed it is minimal or in most cases non-existent. A BBL involves the surgeon harvesting fat from the hips, lower back, abdomen, thighs, and other areas via liposuction. Then fat is re-injected in the buttocks. But it's hard for doctors to see where they are injecting it and could be mistakenly pumping fat into the gluteal muscle, which introduces fat particles into blood vessels. These particles travel through the bloodstream and block the flow to organs, including the heart, leading to complications. It's leading to a condition called fat embolism syndrome. This causes symptoms such as shortness of breath, chest pain, confusion, and even respiratory failure or cardiac arrest. Nerve damage in the area where the fat was injected may also occur, leading to paralysis of the lower extremities and chronic pain. Really, these side effects should really show you that the most I ain't down with these procedures, man. That's your little wake up call to be like, nah, man, the most I ain't with this shit. Anyway, it says the risk of complications and potentially deadly after effects have convinced some plastic surgeons to stop offering the service. Dr. Lara Devgan, a New York-based plastic surgeon, said, "This is my litmus test, my personal golden rule of plastic surgery. If you wouldn't let your mother or sister or brother have a procedure, then you shouldn't let your patients either. The Brazilian butt lift is an operation that I do not perform any longer because of the mortality data speaks for itself. The risk-benefit calculus simply does not add up." Dr. Chris Vanderberg of Neinstein Plastic Surgery in New York says the best way to avoid complications with BBLs is by doing research to find a certified surgeon and not pushing it too far. He recommends patients go for a more natural and elegant look rather than an overfilled and exaggerated. Yeah, there's no subtlety in today's age, man. People are just out there doing all kind of madness, but the most I ain't with this, man. What the hell happened to the article? Okay. No more comments, okay. Let me get a few precepts on this. Bear with me, I'll pull up some precepts. Bear with me. Just bear with me a second. I'm trying to find the precepts. Hold on a second. Okay, just putting the precept here. There's one in the book of Esther, but I can't find it. It's not coming up with it's not coming up. Well, I'll search for a different one. There we go. This is a good one. This is Proverbs 31, verse 30. I'll put it up on the screen for you. Book of Proverbs, chapter 31, starting at verse 30, says, "Favor is deceitful, and beauty is vain. But a woman that feareth the Lord Yahweh, she shall be praised." There you go. Favor is deceitful, and beauty is vain. But a woman that feareth the Lord Yahweh, she shall be praised. So a lot of these women in today's society, they're not going to be praised. They're going to be counted as dogs. Let me get that one. The shameless woman shall be counted as a dog. This is Sirach 26 and 25. Actually, there's a good one I'll get before that. This is Sirach 26 and 22. A harlot shall be accounted as spittle, but a married woman is a tower against death to her husband. Another one, Sirach 26:23. A wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man, but a godly woman is given to him that feareth the Lord. Sirach 26 and 25. A shameless woman shall be counted as a dog, but she that is shamefaced will fear the Lord. There you go. Just a few precepts there on that point. One more I want to get. Leviticus 19:28. It says, "Ye shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am Yahweh." So we're not to be getting cuttings in our flesh from a lot of these medical procedures. They talked about taking the fat from areas such as their stomach, their thighs, their lower back, and then inject it into their buttocks. Well, that involves a lot of cutting, and the scriptures say we're not supposed to be making any cuttings in our flesh. And the statistics speak for themselves. If the Most High was with that procedure, the complications and side effects would not be as prevalent as they are. It just seems like as more information comes out about this procedure, it's, just getting worse and worse. As I said, a lot of people have lost their lives over trying to do this procedure. So, but it's an example of the folly of today's world, because women attribute their value to how many men they can attract, rather than understanding that a woman's value really comes from being loyal to her husband. And the woman is only allowed to have one husband, although the man can have multiple wives. A woman is only ever supposed to have one husband. So that shows you that this world is totally upside down, where Esau is giving the women liberty to do all the things they please, and at the end of the day, liberty wasn't designed for women because they already end up destroying themselves as a result of that liberty. But it is what it is. So yeah, that's all I'm going to say on this topic for this lesson. So Lord willing, it was edifying. So with that, I want to once again give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakodash, double honors unto the elders and apostles of great millstone that rule well. And shalom unto the 144,000 elect men of the nation of Israel and the rest of the elect that are destined to be saved. And I'll catch you on the next lesson, Lord willing. Shalom for now.